Welcome everybody to another episode of Command Combat Battle Reports. Today we've got, I believe this is Empire Total War, and we got the British versus the British on this side, and over here the Americans versus the French. So we got British and French, the Unholy Alliance versus Americans and British, which is sort of an unholy alliance. With me today is Troy.
God save the Queen.
And so what do we got here? We got some British over here who are on this lovely hill who are already leaving. Green jackets. I think they're like skirmisher. Yeah, the skirmisher kind of guys. Got their main line infantry all behind them. And some, the general's bodyguard. Looked like they had a nice sort of setup there, but they're kind of already abandoning their hill. While meanwhile, you got the French over here on this side. They're sending some horse artillery up across these woods up to the hill, and the British cavalry are trying to sort of trade places with them. And the French lines are all in this line set up here. Whoops. Sorry about the camera work there. So it looks like the French are going over to join the British, and the British are not joining them. They're leaving their hill.
Interesting dynamic in this one, Jeff. It looks like British on British violence is about to ensue, although I'm sure they'll go about it in a very light sort of way.
Maybe they'll get together and have tea. This will be a good little spot for that.
I imagine they've had a spot of tea and some crumpets before the battle, get themselves off on the right foot. What?
What? So the British are coming, no pun intended, they got their green jackets in front of a main line, so you got standard skirmish line in front of the main line here. They're pushing up against their fellow Englishmen on that hill, or moving forward kind of chaotically. Meanwhile, the Americans over here, they got some, they got some riflemen. They have sort of the same setup, right? The skirmishers in front and the main line behind, with some Pioneer Raiders in the front and Lee's Legion behind there.
And notably, I observed that the Americans seem to have less starch in their flags, so you see them waving around. The British, being perhaps a little bit more formal, I believe have really pressed their flags into razor-sharp form.
Well, it's got to be that stiff upper lip. By the way, it's Lee's Legion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I understand it, this would be Robert E. Lee's father, who was in charge of, he was, what was it known as, Light Horse Harry Lee.
I've always really enjoyed his chicken as well.
Lee's chicken. Now that's a Nebraska joke.
Ah.
Not too many people out there are going to get that. But that's okay. Alright, so it looks like the French are holding a certain contingent back to hold back the Americans, while they still have...
Stupid British always holding us back.
Actually, I think that it's the French one. These British were over from this hill and just kind of came over here for some reason. But these French seem to have left a group back to hold off the Americans while the rest of them are going through these woods here.
Why did the French cross the hill?
I'm afraid to ask.
To die.
Well, it looks like it here. Looks like it looks like their horse artillery has gotten up on that hill and is covering the British advance. So let's take a look and see how this British versus British action goes. Looks like
Now, normally you have for British on British action, you have to pay $39.95 a month, but here we give it to you for free.
This should be very fun. I like it more. Looks like the problem is that the British on this side. I hate when it's British versus British because it's hard for me to say which one. But the British from the hill have kind of gotten themselves screwed up in this little cluster of trees here, while the ones that moved up were really well organized. So.
Well, the good thing is that you can't go wrong, because in my opinion, the British are looking fantastic, and they're looking awful.
That's true. I guess you go. Oh, okay, that was a nice little setup there. He's got them up like at the edge of this hill in a little bit of a dip here, so they can use that for cover.
And in a very British maneuver, you're seeing synchronized riflemen.
All we need is the music. Da, 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 da. Actually, that kind of looks dirty, the ones who are a little further away.
Put in the polish on.
How about this guy at the bottom left? when you move. Okay, that's enough for me.
I don't know about you, but it takes me a little bit longer to fire.
Oh, that's just because of our age. Alright, well, let's see here. It's hard to tell which British... Oh, but it looks like some of the British from the line have broken through, and they're racing forward, and the French are trying to race up here to defend their artillery. You can see how they came breaking through there. Oh, it looks like they're ignoring the artillery and going right after the infantry. Maybe they're trying to catch the French while they're still in motion.
Like what you see there is the French Special Pantomime Infantry Unit moving in, mimicking fighting.
They're going to pretend to. But no, that's a nice setup. It looks like the British tried to exploit it and get there before the rest of the French did. They were still trying to march in, but managed to get their artillery set up on one side and the infantry set up on the other. So... not want to be those British standing there facing the artillery right in the front. Usually if you can race forward and get the artillery fast enough before the infantry gets there, you can take it out pretty easily, but the infantry support came in. And there goes one British unit. Ooh, and the French are coming in with a charge here.
Now, I do have one little gripe to pick with the historical accuracy of this scenario here.
What's that?
The history books give no indication that flags flash when the routed.
Oh, that's from David McCullough's book, The Flashing Flags.
And in keeping with...
Oh! Did you see that guy with the kilt? He went upside down. I wonder if they had historically accurate. Anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that the other thing that I have a gripe with, kind of like Steven Spielberg's movie Lincoln, is that none of the French here are being played by French.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I think the Gollum played them all. Well, it looks like the British are trying to bring in more from this onto this one hill. I don't know if there's anything left of the Brits who had the hill who went off of it. It looks like the French, yeah, they don't even have anybody left where they started out. They've all made it across these woods here and gotten up onto this hill. So it looks like it's going to become all about can the French hold this hill against this horde of British and Americans. So,
one French hill?
Or one French hill. Ooh, look at this cavalry coming in from the woods.
I like horses.
Doesn't look like the British knew it was coming because they're full flank up to them.
Go, trample, trample.
Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me. Oh, that would be if it was British versus British. They'd be all polite like that.
Oh, did you see the horse drag that one guy?
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
God, I love that.
oh my God, that horse landed on that guy's head. Yes, we are cruel and wicked here. We love all sorts of horrible violence. We're almost as bad as the NFL.
Almost, well, you know, almost as bad as divorce attorneys, actually.
No, we're not that bad.
We're not that sadistic.
No. There's NFL, you know, World Wrestling Federation, criminals, rapists, and then there's divorce attorneys. Oh, looks like they got some more artillery. This is probably artillery that was holding the Americans off a little bit earlier. Probably just now made it through.
And what exactly are the Americans doing at this point?
Let's see. Looks like they're just kind of walking. Not for a walk. Yeah, you can see the original French position from their spikes.
Now, in a shout out to the NRA, I would have to say that if the Americans here had AR-15 assault rifles, the battle would be going very differently. And Unfortunately, I think at this time there was way too much restriction on being able to own weapons.
Well, yeah, he couldn't have the assault rifles at this particular time. Although
No.
I think that had something more to do with the technology.
Well, the way I read it was actually Obama traveling back in time
Oh.
and surreptitiously invoking executive privileges.
Oh, okay. Now here, this is, I guess, the remnants of the British who had been on the hill, come down and are fighting these Americans. And you have some of them on the flank. Actually, it's funny, is that I would have put my money on the Americans here, but they've actually,
Haven't done so well.
no, not really. They're kind of hit. I mean, the Americans, of course, have their main line over here and are keeping these kind of back, but I think they kind of expected to just sort of finish off the British over here, and they're having a little bit more difficulty than they expected.
Get off a few rounds, otherwise you're going to get run over pretty good.
Yeah. Miss! Ha ha ha! See how I made the American miss there?
Well, regardless of whether we're going to do this as Americans, I will say our facial hair is better than theirs.
That is true. Oh, I like how this British guy just came up and he's like, "Hey, shall we chat?" Oh, hey, wait! You're my enemy. Oh, I thought they were gonna kiss there. Ooh! It wasn't enough that one guy was down. He had to stab him too. Stay away, you bloody Britishman!
I have a bayonet and I'm not afraid to use it!
And a beard! Twice the size of you! Of your face! Why, this guy's lost over here. It was my enemy around here. Oh, hey! Yeah, I hate your hat.
You could say they're crossing swords.
Oh. I actually am curious if those British have been, or the French have been defeated yet. Here, let's go take a look.
I'm kind of curious too.
Well, it looks like they've actually held off the British. Yeah, in fact, actually, you can even see they have a line of skirmishers following them up. And the Americans, oh, look, the American line has now come through those trees, so they're about ready to make their attack. But I hate to say, I apologize, people, but I guess we missed the entire British fight. We saw the little bit of that British fight, and it looked like the French were successfully holding them off. So now this is sort of the second wave. Meanwhile, back there was the fight that we were looking at a little bit earlier. And it looks like the British have actually won that part. So they actually might sweep around back here and get in behind the Americans. So now the hill's shifted from right to left over here to left to right over on this side. Oh, and they still have some British helping them. It's hard to tell which side the British are on over here. And it's the General American Advance. I think what's happening is look at their numbers. You can see, you know, the American numbers versus what's left of the French. My guess is that the Americans are going to just try to charge up this hill and take them out before the French are able to set up this artillery here. And will they get their artillery set up in time? They do have this infantry here to slow them down. Oh, they're pulling it back. Okay.
That's an interesting strategy. Of course, the French have been known to retreat on more than one occasion, so perhaps they're resorting back to what they know.
It's their best strategy. Oh, we're gonna slowly charge you. Oops. It's Daniel Boone impersonators versus Men in White. Versus the Doctors. Well, it doesn't look too promising for the French here. That general,
Another blow for socialism, Jeff.
yeah, the general advance of the Americans have just kind of blown right through the French line. And now they're coming up here after the artillery, which that's not going to be kind of ugly here in a second.
If they can get this flank coming around.
Oh, but yeah, French have somebody coming up here.
Too late, too late. I don't see how they're going to get in position in time to make a difference on the outcome of this charge.
Yeah. Oh, well, they got that guy. That guy won't enjoy it.
Oh, and again, he is attempting to move his artillery out of the way.
Yeah, I think it was just the caissons, though. I think the artillery was left behind.
Ah, gotcha. Yep, I see the cannons. Nobody had the cannons.
Oh, yeah, the guys themselves abandoned. Oh, but they have some more up here, so... Oh, then they're still in there. Oh, there we go. We have some that are set up, so we'll see if they're able to do anything. But, I mean, it's not looking too promising because the that advance has gotten up there, and I see a lot of flashing French flags. Not too many American flags flashing. Oh, but here comes in the French cavalry. Well, at least they slowed them. I don't know if that's going to do good for barrel. Well, then again, the French have seemed to rally here, and they're plugging their holes. I know, that's what she said. I was surprised you didn't pick that one up. And it looks like, actually, the British that were over here, remember them from earlier? They're still just kind of standing around. I think that I don't think that's the enemy ones. I think it's the ones that were with the French.
Well, I know we joked about tea before, but they did take their tea seriously back then. And I wouldn't be surprised if the old kettles are out on the stove right now.
Oh, they got to get back to it. Oh my God! Look at this. I don't see any Americans. I think they held their own. What a surprise! The French actually held the hill. Well, that'll do it for this one. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Watch us on Facebook and Twitter and CommandCombatReports.com. And that'll about do it for us today. Happy gaming, everyone.